Hi guys, Silver here for a new video, and this video is a continuation video from my previous video, the melee tier list for 9.2 to 2. And now we are going to discuss about ranged tier lists, and we are also going to talk about an analysis for ranged classes, so casters, and also physical ranged classes. And we're going to discuss about the representation, what it means for the tier list, what it means for the current meta, and of course, does it have a correlation about your personal feeling? Because a tier list is made from facts, subjective feeling towards a specific class or spec, and also the reality of a server. Some servers are playing more rogues, and some servers are more playing more casters and more arms and more red triple paladins. So we're going to discuss it right now. So we jump right in on Drestfar. So we've put 2v2, the role spec, the role option, but also 2100 and more. I'm not going to discuss about 2400 because it is too small of a player base, and also in general I think it's more interesting to know what is the top 10%, for example, instead of the top 1 or top 0.1%. Also, we are going to discuss for NA and EU. I think the meta is in general the same, but there is just different preferences. Because there's also a lot of streamers that are playing, for example, X class or X spec, and a lot of people like that spec and they just want to play it, or other regions or other players just want to play the meta. So we are going to discuss it right now. We see the most underplayed class in PvP. It is the Arcane mage. Only 9 people are playing Arcane mages, and that is not a guarantee. Some people are just going to respec into Arcane, for example, and disconnect to up their standing for example, on PvP leaderboards. So it could be even less, but you see that it can also represent how the current meta is. Like, Arcane mages are really not in a good place. If Venruki, someone that likes Arcane, doesn't play Arcane, there is a good reason, because it is just inting. You're inting, you're actually griefing when you're playing it. If you are friends and you're playing with your friends with Arcane, they tolerate you because you are their friend. I guess you can like Arcane and you want to make it work. That's not a problem. I want to make Affliction work, but we know, and I know, that fire mages are just better, for example. So, BM hunters, not a surprise, most played class. I think hunters in general are the most played class. 439, 147, and 471. I think the representation is very clear. It is priest and hunter, and then there is the rest above 2100. The marksmanship hunters are represented a lot, but does it mean that it is S tier? I don't think so. Balance root, the same, 146. That is a lot. I think a lot of people are respecing balance to play RBGs, for example. And I don't think you can account those 146 as a real 146. And the same for elemental, actually. So we are going to discuss them. I think the representation is very clear. You see a lot of hunters, and it is also the reality of the things. When you're playing 2v2, you have more chances to face versus a hunter than versus a arms warrior or fury, for example. It just states the actual meta of twos, where it is very class like the combination of classes reliant, and in trees it is a bit more, I would say, skillful in my opinion. But twos is very fun. I like twos. I like to play twos, but I know that some matchups are not skillful. Just a counter, straight counter. Okay, so let's jump right in on the tier list. I'm going to explain very quickly and very fast about what I think about every tier. S tier means it is God tier. There is no discussion possible for this tier. It is really the best class. A tier, it is meta. You can climb, and you can climb the highest if you want, and you are very strong with it. but you will know that you are maybe countered by one or two specs or one or two combinations. B tier means it is average. It means you still can climb, but it will be a bit harder because your class relies on dampening, for example, or your class relies on specific combos, or your class relies on specific, I would say, niches or cheeses. C tier means it is underperforming. D tier means it is actually unplayable. Every class is playable, but unplayable in the sense where you're gimping yourself if you're playing this one. Affliction Warlock. Now, I play Affliction Warlock, and I think at this very moment, Warlocks are in a very good state because of a trinket, which I want it to be removed so we are not nerfed unnecessarily because a trinket got introduced, and when the trinket is gone from the season, for example, then you still are with a class that is nerfed because of that trinket. It is the same with League of Legends, for example. There is an item that gets introduced, the item doesn't get nerfed, but the champion gets nerfed, and then the item gets nerfed, and it's a double nerf, and that champion doesn't get played anymore. It will be the same, actually. I think they will nerf Destruction, they will nerf Frost Mages, they will nerf Demonology Warlocks, but they don't nerf the actual item trinket that got introduced, and then when the trinket gets nerfed or decimated or deleted, those three classes will still be nerfed. And then you have the same situation that some classes are in C tier or D tier because of people that don't understand why a class is strong. Just nerf or remove that trinket. It is also not fun to play with. It is actually not that satisfying as if you're playing Destruction, to be honest. There is multiple ways to buff a class. Please remove that trinket. But that's another discussion for another day. Affliction Warlocks, A tier. It's not God tier because they have too many natural enemies. BM Hunters, Survivor Hunters, Havoc Demon Hunters. Excuse me, Survivor Hunter, BM Hunter, Demon Hunters. You have also Rogue Mages, which is you can still win versus them, but a good rogue mage just goes for you and not for your healer. But that's another discussion, of course. What else? I think windwalkers are very strong versus them too. I think restoration druids kind of counters them because of their ability to run away. Holy Priestess also counters them because of Greater Fate. If a good Holy Priest Greater Fates at the right time, they can just dispel for free. If they do it at the wrong time, they just get deleted. But that's the fault of the Holy Priest and not fault of the kit. So that's why it is A tier. I still think it is a bit more average than the other specs, but it is meta because Warlocks are meta because of the trinkets. Again, delete that trinket. I like it to be A tier, but you can now delete the trinket. It is not fun anymore. Arcane Mages, D tier. One school of spell. They need to ramp up. They are squishier than fire mages, squishier than frost mages. The new trinket helps them, but not that much. They have just two better specs. They have a lot of classes that just don't want to play with arcane mages. I think arcane mages just needs a full-on rework or a straight buff to numbers, or yeah, actually a rework. Arcane mages should be able to use multiple school of spells because they have arcane knowledge, and arcane is actually a it was always a spec that enhances other schools and not only arcane. So please change that philosophy again. Arcane mages means that they are actually the most knowledgeable of mages in the lore. They can do everything. So please reflect that too. If a destruction warlock can have 3 different schools, why can't an arcane mage have 3 different schools? That would be unique to a mage, but also would remove the annoying aspect of having only one school of spell. So, PM hunters. I actually don't know, man. Should I put it in God here? It gets outscaled. I'm going to put it in God tier for now. Please don't scream. I know. PM hunters, I know your feeling. You have only 2 buttons. You are very annoyed. You are actually frustrated that people just look down on you. I know. But you are S tier, or maybe at minimum A tier. So please enjoy your time, enjoy your sunshine, enjoy your time into the light. Please don't want to be an arcane mage. Be be happy that you are a S tier class. Be happy to only have two buttons and still work. An arcane mage has multiple buttons that doesn't work when you get silenced. So please enjoy your time into the light. S tier, they have multiple counters that they apply to other people. They can counter Affliction, they counter a lot of classes that needs to be on top of them, like for example Arms Warriors, Retribution Paladins, I would say even Windwalkers. They get countered on multiple levels. That's why BM Hunters are S tier. They might lose versus other classes, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. That just means, yeah, okay, in twos, you have also a partner that can help you. Or as an Affliction Warlock, I can maybe win versus you if I apply the dots on your pet and you are not thinking correctly and healing your pet. I can kill your pet and then you are in an endless cycle where you want to turtle to res your pet and then it is kind of free for me, of course. But a good BM hunter knows that they need to heal the pet, or knows, okay, the Affliction Warlock wants to go for my pet. Maybe it would be a bit more interesting to kite away from the Affliction Warlock. Maybe. So, anyways, S tier. Please don't scream. You don't need to. You have a fantastic class with fantastic mechanics of having only two buttons to press. Be a Havoc Demon Hunter. Try to embrace the uniqueness of having only two buttons. Anyways, that was only a joke, you know. BM Hunter is very fun to play. Very noob friendly, and I think some classes should be noob friendly, and I think like BM Hunters and Demon Hunters should be the noob friendly class that we have in World of Warcraft. Anyway, Demology Warlock. I don't think it is S tier because again, it is cheesy. It is stoppable. A lot of people would say it is not stoppable, but the ramp up is stoppable. Of course, when they have ramped up and they have charges on them, don't be surprised that you are going to get hit by 60k demon bolts. But you need to stop the ramp up. If you stop the ramp ups and you try to kite at the right moment and try to see the stacks and actually trade those stacks with CDs, then you actually can win. And also, if you just kill the pet, they are screwed because they take more damage. So kill the pet, win the game. If they resummon the pet, kill the pet again. If they still want to resummon the pet with a 4-second cast or 5-second cast, I don't remember, then it is a free win for you because you have so much time to actually kill him. They cannot properly work without a pet. Okay, so they don't have demon hunter, demon armor, by the way. So if you kill the pet, the transfer of health, like damage taken, doesn't apply. So they are getting killed very fast. Demon hunters, demonology warlocks are still strong, by the way, but they are counterable. Same for BM hunters, they're also counterable, but they have more people that gets countered by BM hunters. So, destruction warlock. I think it is better than Demonology Warlock because of 3 schools of spells. They have also the trinkets that makes them god tier with the 4 set, so it's a combination with those two that makes them actually very strong. I would even put them in god tier, but it is a caster that needs to cast a lot. And in twos, you don't have a frost mage. Or if you have a frost mage, you don't have a healer. So that's the positive that you have in twos. You don't deal with permafrost, perma roots, perma everything. You know, you don't need to hide H24 behind a pillar, though it is easier to run to a pillar when you're getting screwed. That's why this A tier, it is very strong, but it is counterable because no frost mage. Why is the Destruction Warlock very strong at this very moment? Because Frost Mage Warlock is actually just a very strong comp. With the Trinket, with the tankiness, with a Holy Priest, all this combines just makes a Warlock actually a good Warlock. So, Elemental Shaman, average. I like it. It is very strong, cheesy though. If you go Kyrian and you miss your totem, you're screwed for at least 30 seconds, if I remember correctly, or 45 seconds. But it is counterable. It is cheesy. If you don't see it coming, you get one-shotted, I guess. But it is cheesy. It is not. It is not a tactic that you can use at every level of play. Also, a lot of classes can counter it with feign death, 90% more less damage on the go. So it can still get countered. I think it's a lot of dampening games if you're not Kyrian. You're going to play with probably a hybrid or with a healer. And often than not, if you are playing with a hybrid, you're going to get trained and you're going to heal as much as a restoration shaman. So why don't you play a restoration shaman? That's why it's average. I think it is very fun to play. I think it is very fun to play with because you know that they are going to get trained and you're not. But you know those are dampening games. Games that are going to end in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. A game that ends in 1 or 2 minutes doesn't really happen for them. So elemental shaman. Fire mages got here. They have rogue mage. They have you have also fire mage holy priest, which is also very strong, but needs to actually learn how to play accordingly. It is a lot harder to play than rogue mage, for example. They also get screwed by the echoing resolve trinket, so casters are actually a bit better into them, but they still have combust and they have that on demand. So it's not something that you can see happening in 1 second. Like someone casting the Necrolord Covenant ability, you see them casting, you see them transforming into a skeleton. While combust, it just pops right like this. Boom, you CC, bam, 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 combust, dead. Or combust and then you pop a CD. Or combust and you're going to run away. Or you purge it if you're lucky with your purges. That's why fire mages is our god here for now, at least. I think until 10.0, because fire mages are just very strong and I don't see them nerfing combust even more. They need to probably shift some power from combust into consistent damage, and consistent damage shifted out also into the combust. So yeah, we need to see. Frost mages. They are very strong in twos, but they are average actually because they need trees. I think trees makes them actually better. I just think they are not like destruction because they have also, I think, for me, they have only one school of spell, but they don't get, if they get kicked on frost, they can still polymorph for blink or shimmer if they are spec'd into it. They can even fire blast. I mean, they still are not a walking silence machine, I would say, but their damage is harder to apply because pillars exist, and you don't have a second caster casting chaos bolts from the other pillar, for example. So frost mages average, I would say they are probably A tier, but I think affliction warlocks are a bit easier to play in twos, not skill wise, but I mean, because Affliction Warlock is a lot of kiting. If you don't know how to kite, if you don't know how to burst, if you don't know when to see when you can burst, like see the small details that some players don't see, it's a lot difficult than Frost Mages. But I think Frost Mages has a bit more, has the same potential. I think it is. I think personally in twos you can play the Icelands build, which could actually be interesting for you. But Affliction or like the Warlock specs are better than Frostmage for me. That's why there is a gap between them. Marksmanship Hunter average. I'm going to explain why. I guess you can say it is very bursty. It's probably better than Frostmage. It is very bursty. It is very scary. You can get one-shotted. True. You can get you can get cheesed by a Blessing of Summer. True. They can play Rogue Hunter, which can just kill you someone in a stun lock. True. But they have counters. They can get disarmed. They can get just CC. They can just get trains. They don't have as much possibilities to actually stop the train. They have damage that needs to get casted, while BM hunters can just press Cobra Shot and just kill command. Cobra Shot. Oh, kill shot. they don't have that as marksmanship hunter. So that's why I put it in average. It could be A tier. I know the best hunters can play MM and still go glad. I don't care. I still think if you compare BM with MM with the other classes, their damage is maybe harder to pull off because a lot of classes can just stop it. And you can play Kyrian, one-shot someone, bravo. Yeah, but one-shots, everyone can one-shot. Kyrian shamans can one-shots. Demonology warlocks, if they are untouched, they can one-shot. Destruction warlock can three-shot someone with case balls, for example, which is a three-shot, which is a one-shot because everything is instant, for example. They are, of course, a lot better than Arcane, and they are on the same level as a Frost Mage. For me, it can work, but it is not meta. It is really not meta. Maybe in trees they can do a bit better because they have jungle they can play versus Rogue Mage and then there is possibilities. But marksmanship hunters in general needs to do a lot more work to have the efficiency of a BM hunter, for example. Balanced druids underpowered. I'm close to say it is D tier. I think it is not a 2 spec. You need to play with a rogue, for example, probably, or with a double hybrid. And often than not, your damage is predictable. Okay, you can convoke someone. Okay, you can one-shot someone. But like I said, everyone can one-shot. Most of the time you will be bear form, running away and waiting for your CDs. You know, CDs are long, but defensive CDs are a little bit less longer. Or yes, you can cheese with convoke with the immunity for CC and immunities to silence, or play with a holy paladin that bops you and then aura mastery you. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but it is not meta. If you're playing versus someone that is equal level than you, and they know their comp, they know what to do versus a balanced druid, they know what to expect from balanced druid, then they don't get cheesed. And then they don't get cheesed, then, I mean, what can you apply to actually kill someone outside of your burst? And your burst windows are very small and the CDs are very long. It is a 3 spec, again, like Shadow Priest, also C tier. You need to play with a DPS. If you don't play with a DPS, you actually kill nobody. Except if someone just like forgets that you're a Shadow Priest, and if you're playing Venthyr mind games and someone doesn't realize that they need to dispel, or they don't realize that they need to run away or cancel at mind games. Shadow Priest is a fantastic support spec. Like Frost DK is also a fantastic support spec. But they need help from outside of their comps, and often than not you need a third player. And even in trees, they need to play in Night Fade to reset CDs of their partners. Like if they play with RPS or RPP, yeah, RP Paladin for example. Yeah, I mean, it is. I think the double legendary combo and the 4 set is just not valuable enough for them. I think it is probably the worst class, that the worst evolution of a class from 9.1.5 to 9.2. The combination of the nerf to Palette Command, the double legendary having less value because mind game, like the mind games legendary is not that valuable. The healing legendary is okay, but then again you're a support, so what is the value for twos? The tier set not having that much DPS increase, and if they have a DPS increase, it is not very valuable because it is not practical. There are a lot of problems, and yeah, this is my tier list. I think it is very, very noticeable that you have Fire Mage BM, then you have the Warlock specs, and then you have like MM, Frost, Elemental, because they are average, they are not meta, they are off meta. Shadow Priests and Balanced Druids are underperforming in twos. They might be played a lot, but that's in the representation tab. It is not true because a lot of Shadow Priests are actually playing Holy Priests, but they play like in PvE Shadow Priests, or they do other activities as Shadow Priests. So that is not correct. In twos, I don't see Shadow Priests. Do you see a Shadow Priest in twos? I don't remember when I saw a Shadow Priest in twos. I really don't. So for me, it is close to Arcane and Balance and Elemental. This is a view that you can have on specs, but it is not accurate at 100% because there is a lot of people that just respec for different activities. That's why in PvP leaderboards you see someone that is higher rated on Arcane, but they don't play Arcane, they play Fire Mage, for example. So this is my analysis, this is my tier list. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this tier list. Like and subscribe if you like that content. Also, I'm ready to make a guide for next week. I'm still thinking about which class from all my mains. I have like 3 mains and 1 alt. And yeah, I think I'm going to make a good guide for PvP for people that are beginning with a spec or intermediate, or they need some help with their rotation or what they need to do to actually win a game. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and be sure to be safe. Have a great day, bye.